right, now is a great time to bring back vintage, and I promised you Batman would return, and that's why we're going to be looking at the Kenner Batman Returns collection. Now we're going to be focusing on movie figures here and nothing beyond that. I know it expanded into Robin, even though Robin wasn't introduced in the Batman Returns movie, and there were other figures in the line as well. You'll also notice that we're in the annex here because our current room is occupied by our Star Wars HasLab Cantina review, which that thing is massive and is taking a lot of time to assemble and display. You can check that out on Rebel Scum, I believe next week when we'll have that up. But that is occupying all of the space we have right now, so we had to come out here to our new Batman edition that we're trying to build. At any rate, we're going to be taking a look at a few figures here. One of my favorite, and that's the Bruce Wayne Batman, where the costume you can put on and off, although he has a shirt with what looks like a bat on it. Kind of gives it away. This is also a scene from the newer Batman 1989 comic book, too, so they kind of took this work and put it into the work years later, so that was kind of cool that they kept that up. We have a Catwoman we'll be taking a look at, and this is actually a fairly good Catwoman. I'm really excited about this one. They a really accurate representation from the movie as opposed to some of the other figures you see, but this one did really well. I think in terms of capturing the likeness. As did the Penguin Commandos. I think the Penguin Commandos did a pretty good job as these henchmen. And again, it was the 90s, so you had firing rockets on these guys. And they had two different sizes, their little backpacks, so they had some fun little features. I mean, they weren't 100% accurate, but they captured kind of that essence of having the Penguin army that he created at one point. And then the Penguin, which, you know... I think this is just a repaint of the Kenner DC Superheroes, or yeah, it was Superheroes or Superpowers, I can't remember, but of the Superheroes line, where before he had the, I think was he purple or something like that. At any rate, he's just or maybe it was blue. He's just a straight up repaint. I think of that figure. I don't have that original one, but if you go look it up online, it's pretty close. So they do not have the likeness of DeVito or any of his costume attributes. He's just wearing a tuxedo and he has an umbrella. So that's about the extent of the Penguin. They got kind of lazy on this one. They did a great job with the Catwoman, but this one they kind of pulled back on. So why don't we check these guys out? We'll be doing a little opening here. These are all brand new in card back, so you can see what they looked like in their heyday. And the back, of course, they have that assortment of products, including that amazing Bat Missile, which we will be covering, as well as some other things such as the Bat Ski Boat we'll be covering, and the Command Center, or the Bat Cave, which we will also be covering. But for today, we're just going to be looking at these figures, so let's open these guys up. All right, starting with this Bruce Wayne Batman, you can see he's wearing his little Batman Under Armour that he's got on here, which serves as the base layer here. And then he has his little accompaniments, so he's got his glove that he could put on here, slips on. He's got the Batarang permanently in there. He's got his other gauntlet, glove, whatever you want to call them. It's got all those parts attached to it, and it just kind of slides on. So now this kind of serves, the black serves as the rest of his suit at this point. And then he has his little boots that you can put on each foot. They just kind of slip, they're kind of covers, they just slip on. The most difficult part is the chest armor, because essentially that has to be buckled on there. So it kind of slips over the top like this. That will encompass the suit, and then you have to get this latch on there. I remember doing this as a kid, was a problem. Let's see if I get it to work. And you just got to kind of stretch it and push it as you push the other one in here. There we go. All right, so now that's on, and then you just drop on the cowl, and then I'm Batman. There we go. See, he's ready to go. So this is probably my favorite one from the line, maybe ever from the Kenner lines. They did a really nice job with this one, and they repackaged him, I think, in the Dark Knight collection too. Or first, I guess, because that came out before this. So you can get him both ways here. And then he just comes with a little walkie-talkie. And I think this clicked or something. Yeah. So that was kind of like the channel tuning, essentially. You can only hold it when he doesn't have the glove on, though. So I guess it's the Bruce Wayne Batman communicator, not so much the Bat radio. But yeah, he has his Batarang permanently in his hand. Other than that, he is ready to fight crime. Next up, we have that Catwoman I told you about, and I think they did a good job because they got the leather suit there. They have the stitching pattern all over the front here on the mask as well. On the back, they got the whole lacing up there. I mean, they did a really good job. with this, especially for the time period this was made, and this came out in like 91 or 92, these figures. So they did a really solid job with the design on this figure. I don't think it has claws or anything on the fingers, but and it is a little tricky to get to stand up, I think, because of those boots. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty solid job. I don't think this one's going to balance for me. Pretty solid job on the design of this character and its accessories. It has her whip. Now the whip is kind of like this very loose rubber, pretty long too. So you can actually get a whip out of it, a little crack, a whip crack here. Let's see, fits in the hand quite nice. And then you get her little whip working just like you can in the movie. She also comes with a grappling hook, because why not? It was the 90s. We needed something that fired. I needed an action feature for this thing. I'm just unfurling the line here. You would put it in here. It would attach to her arm. And then essentially you could, I'm not going to push it onto her arm. You could use it to fire and then pull her up or something like that. Unnecessary accessory, but this one is key to have the whip there, so I appreciate how they kept that in there. So pretty good job on that. I mean, it's hard to tell likeness because first of all, it's a 90s figure. Second of all, you can't really see the face under the mask, but pretty good job with this one. This might be the best in the set, but I mean, he's still the best Batman, but this is the best in the I guess in the line in terms of keeping that highly accurate movie likeness there. Next up, we're going to look at some of these Penguin minions. Now, these guys come in two different sizes and colors, and their articulation is limited pretty much to the feet and the flippers. The flippers just kind of turn a little bit. The feet kind of turn out. Oh, no, the heads turn too. I forgot about that. So I'll give you a quick look at these guys. You can just see them. One has fins open, one has fins closed. The flippers, they move up and down. That's really it. So they have the backpacks that go on them, and the backpacks also have like the helmet. So you can see now they have that little weird gizmo over the eyes. So that kind of works together. It does create a little balance problem though, as it starts to drag the weight of the character back. So you got to kind of try to find that. That's why the feet turn. You got to find that happy balance here. We'll try to figure that out in just a second. So as that guy falls down, I'll put the other pack on here. And this one also gives him the mask as it goes on here. So he has his programmable helmet, and this one has machine guns. So he could blast away at whatever he needs to. That balance is a little easier. So then, of course, again, it's the 90s, and the backpack fires, just like it did in the movie, though. They did actually have firing rockets in the movie, so this kind of makes sense. Oh, I was going to use it on the Penguin. There he goes. There we go. So works pretty cool. With that rocket in there, and it's got some good distance on it. Yeah, I think the trick is finding a happy medium for balancing this Penguin. There we go, got him. All right, so that is essentially your minions here. These two little penguins. They did a nice job. I mean, they look like penguins. They gave you two colors, and it was like a troop builder pack. I mean, it came as a 2-pack of penguins. So as long as you bought more, you got more penguins. If you wanted like an army of 10 or 20 of them, you just had to keep buying these, and you didn't get anything that you didn't need. It was just penguins. So I thought they did a really great job on that. And then last but not least, we have the man himself. Again, he is just a reissue of the Kenner superheroes line, and essentially it was just repainted. So he still has this little coat tail that he had in the original version, and you could do a couple things with his umbrella here. So he has his umbrella. Of course, you could put it in his hand and have him hold it, or what's more is you could use the action features. So you can see umbrella launcher on here. You stick this in here and you get some options. So option 1, use it as a backpack. You could put it in the peg right here and then have it on him so he could, I don't know, float and use the umbrella this way. It's a sort of floating mechanism. Or option 2, you could put it on his arm and use it as a cannon. Whoop, there, I just lost it. Use it as a cannon. So essentially the cannon, the arm cannon here, here's the button on the back, would shoot over this way and it would fire like a gun, because again, 90s toys. I like how he has a little umbrella logo on his lapel too. So that's his logo, an umbrella, not a penguin. Anyway, so you got your bad guy here essentially for the film, which was Penguin, and we'll show how he goes well with the play set later on too. But you have him, you have his minions, Then you have his temporary ally, Catwoman. Oh, yeah, he lost his balance again. You have Catwoman, and then you have the Dark Knight himself here in this collection, in his changeable gear there. So from Bruce Wayne to Batman, which is a cool feature to have for Batman. So that is essentially all the figures that I wanted to show in this line. Like I said, there's a Robin. There's, oh look, I gotta understand. There's a like gold version of Batman. There's a Thunder Whip Batman. There's a silver Batman with a laser. So yeah, there's a scuba Batman, air attack, Arctic Batman. I don't remember any of these things from the movie, but they did make the figures. And I didn't want to get too far off the film. So these are your core film characters you could get in this line. It's not too crazy. I mean, Catwoman you can still find for around $8 to $10, maybe 20 to 30 for him. But I'm probably 30 to 35 for him. And these guys you can still get for like 20 bucks. So not crazy on the secondary market, so you can still grab them. Definitely a favorite to have if you need to pick one from this set, though. Is an amazing Batman. We'll keep it short and sweet today. This was basically it. These 4 or 5 characters, you count the Penguins twice, made up sort of the core of the Kenner Batman Returns set. And like I said, there are almost a dozen different versions of just Batman. And then they added Robin to the line, gave him a motorcycle and other things. But I wanted to focus on stuff like we do in 1989 when we looked at the Toy Biz collection, things from the movie. So these were the movie inspired with this repackaged Penguin. But essentially, these are the movie characters that are out there. And they did a pretty good job for releasing in the 91-92 time frame. I mean, this Catwoman is really, really good. Even by today's standards, I would say this would be a good, like, budget line Catwoman. Batman, I still haven't topped that in this in this scale. That's an awesome design for the figure. And the Penguins are really great. I mean, they capture a lot of the elements from the film, all the way down to the helmet controls and then the rocket. Like, they nailed it. I mean, the biggest downside here was the Penguin, where they just recycled the Penguin. They didn't even attempt to make a unique Penguin for the from the film. They didn't even try to give him colors from the film with a gray jacket or something. Like that would have been a little better, to give him a gray jacket like he had in his mayoral look, or the all-white outfit, or something to make it look similar to the film, and maybe change up the head a little bit if you didn't want to retool the body. I don't know. They could have did something. Like, it was a huge shortcut here, considering how strong everything else was in this line. Like I said, still, I mean, you can find them in the secondary market. They're not crazy. I mean, Batman obviously is going to command a little bit more of a price, but these guys could all be tracked down for under 50 each. So you can probably get the whole set if you're lucky for like $100. So something to think about if you're a Batman fan and want a piece of history tying back to the movie lines. And I think this was a really great line. I know McFarlane announced that their Batman Returns line is coming out this fall. So I think it was supposed to be this fall, or maybe it got pushed to spring. We'll see. But that'll be the first time we got figures like that in a while. So looking forward to that. That's all for this time. We're going to have more Batman Returns from Kenner throughout the rest of the month. And then we'll be looking at some other Batman Returns products as well. So tune back for that. Like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you guys next time.